I used to think I was grateful. Honestly, I did. Every morning, I'd wake up and remind myself to say thank you for the bed I slept in, for the roof over my head, for whatever little good I could find in the day. It felt like I was checking off a box, an obligation I had. I'd mumble the words quickly, almost as if gratitude was just another task I had to get through. But deep down, everything felt heavy. My mind replayed the same worries: how little I was earning, how I couldn't afford the things I really wanted, how the bills were piling up faster than I could keep up with them. It was like I was caught on a treadmill I couldn't stop, and no matter how much I repeated thank you, it never really sank in. It wasn't real. It was just words, surface-level gratitude that left me feeling emptier than before. It felt like pretending, like putting on a mask that said, "I'm thankful," but inside, I was trapped in a cycle of scarcity and frustration. I started noticing something strange after a while. The more I rushed through the thank yous, the more distant I felt from any real sense of abundance. Like that gratitude was just noise, empty words that didn't touch what I was truly feeling inside. And you know what? It made sense because I wasn't actually feeling grateful. Not really. I was just saying the words because I thought I was supposed to, because it was the right thing to do. So many of us fall into this pattern. We tell ourselves we're thankful for what we have, but if I've learned anything, it's that gratitude isn't just about saying the right words. It's about feeling them, really feeling them deep inside, as if your heart is opening up to receive more. And I'll be honest, I had no clue how to do that at first. I thought I was doing it right because I wasn't vocalizing complaints or negativity openly. But underneath, there was still this low-grade dissatisfaction, this quiet rejection of the good I already had. I was stuck in a loop where I believed I was grateful, but my vibration told a different story. That's when everything started to shift for me. One day, I realized that saying thank you in a rush, on autopilot, wasn't enough. It was like trying to plant a seed with no dirt, no water, no care, just hopes that somehow something would grow. But growth never happens without real roots, real intention, real emotion behind what we do. I needed to feel grateful, truly, deeply grateful, not just with my words, but with my whole being. And I can tell you, that moment, it was almost like a switch flipped inside me. Suddenly, there was a different energy, one that felt grounded, genuine, alive. It wasn't about trying to look like I was thankful to anyone else. It was about feeling it within myself, authentically. That shift started to change everything. Because I saw how superficial gratitude kept me anchored in lack, in frustration, in a cycle of wanting but never truly receiving. I learned that when gratitude is superficial, it's like wearing a mask. No matter how loudly you claim to be thankful, your vibration still screams that you're stuck, that you're limited. But as soon as I started cultivating that real, deep appreciation, when I learned how to genuinely feel grateful even during tough times, that's when the magic began. Things started to move differently. My worries lessened. Opportunities appeared where before there were only closed doors. It was as if aligning my heart with real gratitude opened up a channel for abundance to flow freely into my life. And that's what I want you to understand today. This isn't about saying a few words or repeating a mantra out of habit. It's about feeling something real inside, something that shakes loose the chains of scarcity, that rewires your entire way of seeing and experiencing your world. Because I've been there, stuck in that hollow version of gratitude that simply keeps everything the same. And I know firsthand that transformation begins when we stop just saying thank you and start genuinely feeling it deep in our core. So, if you've ever wondered why your life isn't changing despite all your affirmations, if you've sensed that maybe something's missing in your gratitude practice, I invite you to keep listening. What I discovered is that real gratitude, the kind that shifts your vibration and invites abundance, has nothing to do with words alone. It's a heart-opening, soul-deep act that can change everything if you're willing to embrace it. What I've come to realize is that authentic appreciation isn't something you can manufacture on demand. It's a resonance that needs to be cultivated from within to truly flourish. When I first began experimenting with intense, heartfelt appreciation, I noticed something remarkable, a natural release of tension that had settled deep in my chest. It was as if I had unlocked a doorway into a more expansive space where positivity could flow freely. That shift wasn't rooted in mindless repetition, but stemmed from a genuine acknowledgement of what my soul truly valued. Imagine that gratitude as a seed planted solemnly in your heart. If you only sprinkle it with superficial words, it's like watering it with a weak, diluted spray that barely wets the surface. But when you nourish it with sincere emotion, when your entire being recognizes and resonates with the worth of what's already present, you begin to see growth. A gratitude rooted in conviction becomes the fertile ground for abundance to take root. It's not about convincing yourself or forcing a feeling. It's about aligning your awareness with what genuinely moves you. When your internal landscape is receptive, small moments reveal their worth. Finding beauty in everyday objects, feeling a surge of appreciation for past lessons, or even the challenge itself that shaped you. Now, let's explore the contrasting effect of superficial acknowledgement. When appreciation remains superficial, it acts as a barrier rather than a bridge. It's akin to holding a mirror aimed at the outside world, expecting it to reflect inner transformation, yet neglecting to refine what's happening inside. Without sincerity, these acts of gratitude become hollow echoes, empty gestures that fade quickly, leaving behind a sense of disconnect. As a result, the energy you emit continues to attract similar frequencies, perpetuating patterns of lack and frustration. You remain tethered to the illusion that saying the right words is enough, but in truth, your vibrational state is what signals your openness to receiving more. Without an internal shift, your circumstances remain unchanged, a reflection of unhealed doubts and unprocessed wounds disguised under polite words. Furthermore, consider how true appreciation impacts subconscious programming. The mind is a relentless storyteller, constantly weaving beliefs based on what it perceives as real. If your inner dialogue is riddled with negativity and unworthiness, surface-level expressions of gratitude have little power to override those deeply embedded narratives. They're like trying to patch up a leaking pipe with a sticker, temporary and ineffective. But when your sense of reverence for what exists becomes palpable, your subconscious begins to rewrite its script. It starts to recognize abundance as a natural state, not a distant dream or a fleeting possibility. You're reconditioning your mental filters, shifting from a mode of lack to one of limitless potential. This profound inner recalibration gives rise to new behaviors and choices that align seamlessly with prosperity. Now, let's turn our attention to practical applications of this awakening. One of the most potent ways to anchor genuine appreciation involves actively engaging your senses and emotions. For example, instead of mentally listing what you're grateful for, immerse yourself in the details. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, hear the gentle hum of life around you. Observe the vibrant colors of your surroundings. As you do this, bring your heart into the moment. Acknowledge the beauty that often goes unnoticed. This exercise is akin to tuning a musical instrument until it's perfectly in pitch. The more you attune your inner frequency to the melody of abundance, the clearer your vibration becomes. Building on this, consider integrating a daily ritual that deepens your connection to sincere appreciation. It could be a morning reflection where you pause and identify what has genuinely brightened your day, or a gratitude journal that captures heartfelt moments, no matter how small. Consistency is key because, over time, these habits reinforce your new vibrational pattern, making authentic appreciation your default state. When gratitude flows from this genuine space, it acts as a magnet, pulling towards you opportunities, relationships, and resources that match that elevated energy. This isn't about forcing feelings, but about allowing them to emerge naturally from your expanded heart space. As you practice, remain receptive to subtle shifts. Sometimes, real transformation manifests quietly, an unshakable feeling of peace when facing uncertainty, a newfound patience that softens reactions, or unexpected doors opening when you least expect. These are signals that your vibrational base has shifted from a mindset of scarcity to one of openness and abundance. The heart-brain connection is powerful, and nurturing a sincere gratitude is like rewiring your entire emotional landscape into a fertile ground where abundance can thrive unencumbered. When you begin to tuck away experiences of genuine appreciation, purposefully and consciously, you're setting the stage for profound change that resonates far beyond your immediate awareness. When I truly embrace the essence of genuine appreciation, I began to notice subtle shifts in my daily experiences that I couldn't previously explain. The way I responded to small victories became different. Doors that once felt firmly closed now gently swung open without effort. I remember a particular day when I woke up feeling anxious about a looming financial deadline. Instead of forcing myself into optimism or brushing off the discomfort with superficial bits of praise, I paused. I took a deep breath and allowed myself to genuinely acknowledge the moment. How my surroundings looked, the comfort of my bed, the way my chest expanded during each inhale. It was in that quiet pause that I realized real acknowledgement goes far beyond repeating empty phrases. It involves fully inhabiting the present without resistance. By shifting my focus from what I lacked to what I genuinely appreciated in that very instant, I uncovered a fundamental truth. The emotional state I cultivated in the moment determined whether I attracted ease or resistance. When I felt a real connection to what I appreciated, regardless of external circumstances, I could sense the energy flowing from a place of authenticity. This wasn't a mental trick or superficial cheerleading. This was about aligning with a truth that resonated deeply within me. Over time, I learned to cultivate a sense of wonder for even the smallest details, like the texture of a warm cup of tea or the quiet hum of life passing by outside my window. These moments became anchors that kept my frequency high when the world seemed chaotic. Another vital insight was recognizing their impact on my mental landscape. When appreciation was genuine, my subconscious took note and began rewriting its internal narrative. Instead of defaulting to scarcity or worry, I started noticing opportunities one had previously overlooked. It was as if my inner world developed new lenses, ones that amplified abundance rather than filtering it out. For example, I might encounter a setback, but rather than obsess over what was lost, I'd focus on what I learned or the strength I gained. That shift in perspective was a direct result of connecting emotionally with my feelings of gratitude. It was no longer about forcing gratitude during good times. It became a way of life, a new way I chose to see everything around me. This approach also meant acting in ways that reinforced my newfound perspective. When I felt a deeper affinity for what I had, I naturally began to treat my resources with more care and respect. If I truly valued my health, I began making healthier choices not because I was told to do so, but because I genuinely appreciated the gift of a functioning body. If I appreciated my relationships, I started nurturing those connections more meaningfully. Every action, infused with sincere acknowledgement, seemed to carry more weight. It was as though each step I took was more deliberate, more aligned with what I truly wanted to manifest. That intentionality created a ripple effect, echoing outward into my environment and attracting opportunities that matched my inner state. Now, consider how this applies when faced with what appears to be hardship. Instead of fighting against difficulty or desperately seeking relief, I learned to turn inward and find even the tiniest sign of worth in that challenge. It's a skill that, once developed, transforms struggle into a catalyst for growth. For instance, a financial pinch might initially trigger feelings of frustration, but if I pause and deliberately identify aspects I am still grateful for, like supportive friends or my resilience, I shift from resistance to acceptance. That's a key step. Recognizing that authenticity and appreciation serves as a bridge to reclaim inner power. When I do this with conviction, I activate a sense of flow that renders obstacles less daunting and opens a space for creative solutions to emerge effortlessly. This process also involves honing an acute sensitivity to the present moment. The more I practice this deep acknowledgement, the more I notice how much abundance is already around me, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be appreciated fully. It's like tuning a radio to a station that's always been broadcasting, but I needed to turn the dial with intention. In doing so, I start seeing and feeling opportunities that were once obscured by doubt or fatigue. Each genuine act of acknowledgement acts like a key unlocking a new chamber within myself, an inner vault filled with potential. The better I get at recognizing these subtle treasures, the more I realize that true abundance isn't something I chase. It's something I open my heart to. When I nurture this genuine reverence, I become a magnet for experiences and resources that support my highest good, most of which I couldn't access when I was distracted by superficial thanks or empty repetitions. The deeper I go into this practice, the clearer it becomes that authentic appreciation is a powerful force, not a fleeting emotion, but an active state of being that rewires subconscious patterns and realigns life's flow. It's an ongoing journey that demands honesty, patience, and awareness, but promises a life that feels more connected, more fulfilled, and undeniably richer in every way. When I began to distinguish between superficial thanks and heartfelt acknowledgement, I found that true gratitude acts like the wind in a sail. It propels you forward in ways that mere words cannot. It's not enough to merely recognize the good. You must activate an energetic shift that powers your entire being. This involves surrendering the urge to control outcomes or to force feelings of thankfulness. Instead, I learned to let appreciation flow from a quiet, yet powerful place within, like a gentle stream rising to a flowing river rather than a small trickle. That inner current becomes the fuel that moves your frequency into the realm of abundance, where the universe is eager to match your newfound openness. Building on this, I realized that the act of truly feeling grateful is akin to tending a garden. You can't just plant a seed and walk away, expecting a bloom without care. Each moment of sincere acknowledgement is like watering the roots with awareness and mindfulness. When I incorporated this mindset into daily routines, I noticed subtle but unmistakable changes. Tasks that once felt burdensome became opportunities for appreciation. Standing in line became a chance to observe beauty in the mundane, and paying bills turned into a ritual of recognizing the value these resources bring into my life. By consistently cultivating this deeper awareness, I found that my overall energy scaled upward without needing external validation. Furthermore, I discovered that when appreciation penetrates beyond the surface, it influences the unconscious mind in profound ways. Patterns of thought that once dominated, like fear of lack or feeling unworthy, lose their grip over time. It's as if the mind begins to rewire itself in response to the emotional charge behind appreciation, replacing old, limiting beliefs with ones rooted in abundance and hope. I noticed that even in moments of difficulty, a shift in focus towards smaller blessings could soften the edges of frustration that tend to sharpen under pressure. When I allowed myself to settle into feelings of gratitude for what remains, I generated a sense of peace so stable that it became a refuge amid chaos. That internal calm acts like a fertile ground where new possibilities can grow, free from the weeds of scarcity. Another layer worth considering is the role of energy exchange. Genuine acknowledgement isn't solely an internal process. It also mirrors back into your external environment. When I learned to focus on the essence of what I appreciated without attachment to specific outcomes, I began noticing synchronicities appearing more frequently. Opportunities, right timing, and even unexpected resources would come into my awareness. It's as if my openness sent a subtle invitation to the universe to participate actively in my growth. I observed that efforts to elevate my state through heartfelt recognition created a ripple that touched others around me as well, inspiring waves of kindness and cooperation. The universe responds to sincerity, not just mental affirmations, and cultivating this awareness becomes a dance of reciprocal harmony. Now, when I reflect on moments of hardship, I realize that they serve as the ultimate testing grounds for true appreciation. Facing a setback with a mindset rooted in scarcity is the easiest way to deepen the illusion of separation from abundance. But if I shift gears and focus on recognizing even small elements of resilience or lessons learned, I find that my emotional landscape begins to shift. It's like adjusting a camera lens. What was blurry or dark suddenly comes into clearer focus. You can start seeing opportunities for growth hidden beneath the surface of difficulty. You begin to understand that challenges are not roadblocks, but stepping stones. This reframing requires not just mental acknowledgement, but a deliberate, heartfelt perspective shift that energizes your entire being. One transformative practice I adopted was intentionally pausing during my day to reflect on what I have already received, no matter how minor. I'd close my eyes for a moment and breathe in a wave of appreciation for the people, experiences, or simple comforts I often overlooked. It's astonishing how quickly that act lifts the heaviness that can accumulate under stress, replacing it with a lighter, more hopeful sensation. When I activate this state consciously, It's as if I'm rewiring my emotional circuitry to prioritize appreciation as a default mode. Over time, I realized that cultivating this habit naturally attracts more of what I want, without demanding or forcing circumstances to align. The universe begins to mirror back that openness, revealing abundance in ways I couldn't have planned with the mind alone. This deeper engagement with appreciation doesn't eliminate reality's obstacles, but it radically alters how I respond to them. Instead of feeling diminished by setbacks, I start to see them as opportunities to practice gratitude for resilience and growth. It's the difference between being overwhelmed by life's currents and learning to ride them skillfully. As I shift into this space of sincere recognition, I resonate at a frequency that invites remarkable change, one that feels effortless, yet profoundly powerful. When I focus on the deeply felt gratitude that originates from within, I step into a state of being where nothing is truly out of reach, because I no longer chase externally what I carry inside. It's this internal preparation that transforms the entire dance with the universe into an authentic partnership fueled by heartfelt acknowledgement. Reflecting on this journey so far, I see how all these threads, deepening gratitude, authentic presence, conscious intention, are intricately woven into a tapestry far richer than I had ever imagined. Each insight, each moment of genuine appreciation, acts like a ripple expanding outward, subtly transforming the way I perceive and respond to every facet of life. It's almost as if I had been navigating through fog, unclear and constricted, only to discover that the clarity I longed for was always present, just obscured by layers of distraction and superficiality. As I peel these layers back, I become aware of a radiant core, waiting patiently to be uncovered through honest recognition. Within this evolving perspective, I begin to perceive the landscape of my existence differently. Challenges no longer appear as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for deeper engagement. Instead of viewing setbacks in resignation or frustration, I recognize moments of teaching, chapters where resilience is forged through conscious acknowledgement. These experiences, once perceived as purely negative, now reveal themselves as catalysts for new levels of awareness. From this vantage point, life's flow is not something to be forced or manipulated. It emerges naturally when I align with a genuine appreciation that resides within. When I let go of trying to control outcomes explicitly, I start feeling the subtle harmony that underpins every event, every interaction. This shift in perception creates a powerful momentum, an internal pulse that guides me beyond superficial routines toward a space of soulful connection. As I tune into this pulse, I realize that my energy has become a channel for greater intelligence to work through. The patterns that once dictated a scarcity-based existence begin to dissolve, replaced by a subtle, persistent invitation to receive more. It's as if I've discovered an inner conduit that vibrates with openness and gratitude, acting as a magnet that draws into my life experiences aligned with that frequency. The veil starts lifting, revealing a landscape where abundance is not an elusive goal, but a natural state that flows when I am truly present with what I already have. At the heart of this transformation is a profound understanding that intentional awareness shapes the fabric of reality. Every moment of honest appreciation becomes a seed planted in fertile ground, a catalyst for change that can grow beyond the limits previously accepted. I've come to see that the quality of my inner environment determines the quality of my outer world. Like a gardener tending to the soil, I realize that cultivating inner gratitude actively rewires my subconscious, rewinding ingrained stories of lack and restructuring them to reflect a brighter, more expansive view. Moreover, I now recognize that this process doesn't require grand gestures or constant effort. It thrives in the quiet, everyday acts of acknowledgement that are infused with sincerity. Life offers endless invitations to connect with what's beautiful or meaningful, even amid chaos. These moments, when met consciously and radiating authentic appreciation, become the building blocks of an energy chamber where arrival and departure are seamlessly intertwined. It's this ongoing exchange, this dance of giving and receiving, that gradually rewires my experience, making abundance seem less like a distant dream and more like an inherent part of who I am becoming. As I sense this unfolding, I am filled with anticipation. Because all paths, no matter how winding or challenging, are leading toward a recognition of inner truth. When these threads are woven together with genuine emotion, they form a resilient fabric that can withstand storms and shift any internal landscape into one of serenity and trust. It feels as if I've been handed the keys to a hidden vault, one that contains all the treasures I've been searching for, already present, waiting for me to unlock it simply by the power of sincere recognition. This realization stirs a deep sense of possibility and shifts my whole perspective, propelling me into the final chapter of understanding, where everything begins to align through the pure clarity of heartfelt acknowledgement. As I reflect on this journey I've undertaken, I see how deeply interconnected everything truly is. The transformation I experienced wasn't about acquiring external possessions or chasing distant dreams. It was about shifting the core within, rewiring the very way I respond, think, and feel. When I began to embrace heartfelt gratitude not as a mere habit, but as a living state, something I could carry into every moment, I discovered a wellspring of empowerment I never knew existed. It felt as if I stepped out of the shadows of doubt and into a space where trust in life's abundant flow became instinctive. That inner shift has a ripple effect, subtly reshaping my entire outlook. Challenges that once felt overwhelming now appear as opportunities for growth and learning. Disappointments transform into gentle reminders that life's unfolding is perfect in its imperfection. This awakening brought a new clarity. Abundance is not something outside waiting to be found, but an innate force waiting to be activated from within. It's like opening a door long sealed shut, revealing a vast landscape of possibilities ready for me to explore with an open heart. My energy, no longer restrained by false scarcity, begins to radiate outward, attracting circumstances that mirror that expansive state. What struck me most during these revelations is the profound power of intention infused with sincere emotion. When I approach life with a deep sense of appreciation, not just stating words but truly feeling gratitude, I become a magnet. Opportunities that once seemed hidden or impossible now appear where I least expect them. Small, everyday moments take on heightened significance, revealing the richness that's already present and waiting for acknowledgement. The act of internal acknowledgement isn't just a fleeting sensation, but a recalibration of my entire being. It's as if I've given myself permission to see the world through new eyes, eyes that recognize the endless flow of abundance and possibility. This awakening has taught me that the pace of this process isn't dictated by external conditions, but by the sincerity of internal alignment. Patience, therefore, isn't about waiting for circumstances to change, but about cultivating a state of unwavering trust and openness. It's about understanding that true power lies in how I choose to respond, how I honor my feelings, and how I invite vibrational harmony into my daily life. Even amidst uncertainty, I've discovered a calmness that radiates from a deep-rooted conviction that my needs are always met in ways beyond my understanding. That trust begins with real appreciation, an acknowledgement that flows naturally when I am fully present, free of resistance or expectation. Over time, I've come to see that the most remarkable aspect of this process isn't an immediate transformation, but a steady unfolding of awareness. Each moment of genuine gratitude acts like a seed, planting the potential for greater joy, abundance, and fulfillment. When I nurture that seed with authentic emotion, I nourish the belief that life supports me, that I am worthy and deserving of all that I desire. With each act of heartfelt acknowledgement, I strengthen that inner foundation, making it easier to let go of doubt and embrace a flow of possibilities previously dismissed as unreachable. The world around me becomes more responsive, not because I'm trying to pull it closer, but because I've shifted into harmony with it. Now, I see that this isn't a finite destination, but an ongoing dance, a perpetual deepening of understanding and connection. When moments of challenge appear, I no longer see them as setbacks, but as opportunities for further growth and reflection. I recognize that everything I need has been within me all along, waiting patiently for my attention and sincere acknowledgement. Moving forward, I'm gently reminded to hold space for that feeling of appreciation, allowing it to fill every corner of my consciousness. Because in doing so, I invite a flow of abundance that is natural, effortless, and unceasing. It's less about pushing toward a future and more about transforming how I inhabit the present, seeing it as the fertile ground for possibilities that already exist within me. There's a quiet power in this awareness, an invitation to trust that, when I align from a place of heartfelt gratitude, I'm taking my place in a grand, interconnected dance of creation. With each step rooted in genuine feeling, I deepen my understanding that life is inherently abundant, and I am already a vital part of that divine rhythm. The most profound realization I carry now is that the external world is but a reflection of my internal state, a mirror that responds to my sincerity. As I continue to cultivate this inner openness, I become more receptive to the endless blessings that surround me, waiting patiently for me to recognize them. And through this process, I discover not only the power to change my circumstances, but to transform the very way I experience life, from a struggle to a sacred dance of gratitude and flow.